Alrighty, my friends, welcome back. Again, we're going to do factoring 1 through 10. All right, so let's get cracking. Before we get into factoring and multiples, let me give you guys a cheat sheet or a way I remember factors. Because if you were to tell me right off the bat, and I teach chemistry, I teach chemistry and biology, not math. So these mathematical terms are really kind of scary for me. I know how to work with them, but I don't remember what they mean sometimes, right? All right, so basically factors, right? When I think of factors, I think of a factory. Please do not make fun of my drawings, right? Bam, this is my factory. Boom, right? Bam. When I think of a factory, I think of parts, because in a factory, it's not just the factory, right? You have a place for the assembly. You have a place where you're actually building the product. You have a place where you're designing the product. You have a place where you're testing the product. You have a place where you're basically shipping the product out. And then you also have like offices and stuff like that. So a factory, think of small little parts, right? Breaking down, right? So a factory is just a bunch of little parts, right? And when you add them all up, or you multiply them all up, they equal this big factory, right? So factory equals factory, and then small parts. That's how I remembered it. And like I said, I don't teach math, but I do like getting these little cheat sheets to basically teach or remember some of these terminologies, right? So when we get a question like number 12, what is the factor of 12? So if I have 12, right? 12 is the big factory. What are all the parts that equal this, right? So I'm going to say, let's start off with 1. 1 times what equals 12? So 1 times 12 equals 12, right? I can have that little part. I can also have 2. 2 times 6 is going to give me 12. I can also have 3 times 4, and that's going to equal 12, right? And then do I have any 5s? 5 times what equals 12? No, right? Because I want whole parts, right? I want whole assembly sections. I want whole areas for product design. I don't want like half an area because that's not productive, right? So what about 6? Well, 6 we already have. 6 times 2, right? What about 7? Nope, doesn't fit in there. What about 8? Nope, it doesn't fit in there. So what are the factors? Your factors are 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4, right? So that's what I'm going to write. 1, 12, 6, 2, 3, and 4, right? So list the first 4 multiples of 12, right? Now, when you say multiples, I like to think of it as you're just basically adding another of this number, right? So I think it would make more sense if I actually draw it out, right? So what are the multiples of 12? Well, I have 12, and then if I add another 12, I have 24. And if I add another 12, I have 36. And if I add another 12, I have 48, right? So these are your first 4 multiples. Bam. So these are your first 4 multiples. You have 12, you have 24, you have 36, you have 48, right? Multiples are you're adding the same number that you start off with over and over and over again. So list the factors of 30. 30 is a big one, right? So let's do it. 30, right? I can do 1 times 30. Let's get that out of the way, right? And that's going to give me 30. I can do 2 times what? 15. And that's going to give me that. I can do 3 times 10, right? That's going to give me that. I can do 4 times nothing, right? Because 4 times something is not going to give me 30. So I can do 5 times 6. That'll give me 30. And then I can do 6 times 5. But oh wait, I already have it here. So really that doesn't count. Can I do 7 times something will give me 30? No. 8 times something? No. I can do 15 times 2, but I already have that here, right? So my factors are going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 30, 15, 10, 6, right? Awesome. And I'm going to put those numbers here, right? Okay, list the first 4 multiples of 30. So keep in mind, in this section, it's asking you to do multiples and factors at the same time. So please be careful. If it's asking you for multiples, do the multiples. If it's asking you for the factors, do the factors. So first 4 multiples of 30. So I have 30, and then if I add another 30, I'm going to get 60. If I add another 30, I'm going to get 90. If I add another 30, I'm going to get 120. So these are your first 4 multiples right here. Bam. Okay. Number 5. List 12. Is 12 a multiple or a factor of 24, right? So it's asking you it's either this one or it's either this one, right? Let's do multiple first, right? So 24, if I want to do multiples, I'm going to add the same number, right? 24, 48, right? And if I add another one, it's going to keep going and going and going. And this is the multiple. Right? And I don't see a number 12 in here, right? So it can't be this. So what about factor? Well, 24, if I factor it down into its parts, I can do 1 times 24, or I can do 2 times 12, and whoa, there you see it. It is a factor. All right, so for this one, it's going to be a factor. All right. Is 8 one of the factors of 64? So factors. So factory, remember, break it down into its parts. So we're trying to figure out if 8 is one factor of 64. So yeah, we could do 1 times 64 and 2 times 32, but it really wants to find out if it's 8, right? So can I multiply 8 by something to get 64? And yes, you can multiply 8 by 8. So this is yes. So what is the greatest common factor of 27 and 45? So common factor. So common, obviously, what do you have in common? Well, with someone else. Well, we both have the same hairstyle. We both like eating ice cream on Saturdays, right? So it's something that you guys share in common. And this is asking for the greatest. Please keep in mind, always read the question and always read what they're asking you, because sure enough, if you have greatest, there are going to be some questions that ask for the least. So we're looking at factors, right? So 27, I can do 1 times 27, right? I can do 2 times, well, 2 times nothing, because that's not going to give me an even number, right? So I can do 3 times 9, right? 4 times nothing, really. 5 times, well, nothing will get me 27. So I guess we can stop here, right? And then it's asking you to compare between 45, right? So we'll get 45, 1 times 45, obviously. 2 times, well, nothing's really going to give you that. What about 3 times 15, right? What about 4 times, well, nothing really, right? What about 5 times 9? And really, I think that's it. Because you can't multiply 6 by something to get 45 or 7 or 8. You can multiply 9 times 5, but you already have that here. So what is your greatest common factor, right? So if you look at all these numbers, which is the biggest one that they have in common? They have 3, but they also have 9, which is the largest one that they have in common. So your greatest common factor is going to be 9. Okay, what is the greatest common factor of 9 and 36, right? So same thing. 9, I have 1 times 9. I have 3 times, well, 3, right? So 3 times 3, and then I don't really have any more for that one, right? What about 36? So I have 1 times 36. I have 3 times 12, right? And then I have, of course, 6 times 6. So we'll stop there. And comparing these, right, our greatest one is going to be 3. All right. So let's see. What do we got here? What is the least common multiple of 9 and 12, right? So let's do multiples. So 9, if I add 9 more, it's going to be 18, right? If I add 9 more, it's going to be 27. And I can keep going on from there. If I add 9 more, of course, it's going to be 36, right? Perfect. And then what it's asking basically now is, okay, where do I go from here, right? Oh, and I'm sorry, guys. I totally forgot about this one. So you could also do 9 times 4. For going back to number 8, I'm so sorry I skipped this one. And then the greatest one would actually be 9. I'm so sorry. So please change your answer to from number 8. And it's 9. Okay? I am so sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to look at my screen and then look at the paper at the exact same time. And sometimes it discombobulates my head. All right, so going back to number 9. I'm sorry about that, guys. Least common multiple of 9 and 12, right? So we're going to box this off here. So we have 9, and then we also have 12, right? So let's do that, right? So we have 12, right? If I add another 12, it's going to be 24. And if I add another 24, it's going to be 36. And if I add another 12, it's going to be 48. And then it's asking for the least common, right? So this one and this one don't match. This one and this one don't match. This one and this one don't match. But these are the least common, right? Not the greatest, but the least. So the least common one is going to be 36. Okay. What is the least common multiple of 24 and 48? So let's do that. Multiple 24. If I add another 24, it's going to be 48, right? And if I add another 48, I can keep going from there. But we're going to stop there. And then 48, right? So I have 48. Right? And if I add another 48, holy cow, I'm going to do math in my head right now. It's going to be 96, right? But we can stop there because the least common multiple is going to be 48 and 48. Awesome. All right, I'm going to pause right there, guys. And then I'm going to make another video for this one, okay? Thank you.